But I love Political Voices.
On Political Voices, we talk politics in a country of diverse interests who gets what, when, and how is politics. And this is our business on Political Voices. Nigeria, a country of over 160 million people. Political Voices is gauging the temperature, setting the agenda. Political Voices exclusively on Dream FM, 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday to Friday,
and 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Saturdays.
Good morning and welcome to Political Voices at 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Today is Monday, 29th of June 2020. Time in the studio is 9:01 a.m. Political Voices is a session of comments, interviews, and analysis of current political trends, how they affect and shape your world. The term restructuring has been on the front burner in Nigeria's quest to make things better. And that word restructuring means different things to different groups in the country. Just recently, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo went ahead to speak once again about the need for Nigeria to restructure now. Obasanjo said that the Buhari government should restructure the country so as to assuage ill feelings from contending interests. He expressed worry that the federal government appeared overwhelmed by the state of insecurity in the country. So his call for restructuring is pointing to the insecurity in the nation. The former president made his position known while delivering a lecture on COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria's security issues at the 2020 Shobo Shoemimo annual lecture organized by Abeokuta Club in Abeokuta. So, on Political Voices, Obasanjo's call for restructuring Nigeria, the issues and implications. Before we get into analysis, there are top trending political stories that might interest you this morning. The All Progressives Congress, APC ruling party, the caretaker Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee is expected to hold their inaugural meeting today. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary of APC, Yekini Nabena, confirmed that the meeting would hold today. The meeting that will be held at the APC's National Secretariat Abuja is expected to set up subcommittees as part of preparations for the party's congresses and the National Convention. Now, recall that APC's National Executive Committee had a meeting on Thursday at the Presidential Villa, which is still under criticism, especially from the People's Democratic Party, main opposition party. Now, at that meeting that held APC's next meeting on Thursday at the Presidential Villa, they dissolved the party's National Working Committee and set up Caretaker Committee, which is headed by the Yobe State Governor, May Malabuni. The Caretaker Committee was given the mandate to organize the party's ward, local government and state congresses, as well as a national convention in the next 6 months, which means the meeting that would take place today would set the ball rolling. Away from that, have you heard the rumor? Yes, rumor has it that the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike is possibly going to contest for presidency in 2023. Well, he came out to address that rumor yesterday and he dismissed it as a mere speculation, saying it is too early to start playing politics of 2023. Wike said this while he appeared on a television interview yesterday, and he recalled that in the build-up to 2019 election, actually, people were also spreading rumors that he wanted to be the running mate of Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal. Now, according to him, the crisis in APC is also predicated on the thoughts of 2023. So he attributed the crisis in APC to thoughts and permutations on what to become of 2023. The governor of Rivers State equally said he is concentrating in developing Rivers State, adding that he was not party to anybody saying that the problem of PDP is 2023 presidential election. Away from that, the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, has come out to lay out criteria for Edo and Ondo state governorship polls in terms of political parties that would be holding public rallies soon. INEC on February, INEC in February rather, faced the governorship election in Edo and in Edo for September 19th, yes, and that of Ondo State was fixed for October 10th, 2020. Now, the Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, has called on political parties to give INEC a 7-day notice before holding any rally. And he also made it clear to political parties to ensure to abide by the safety protocols laid out by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. Now, INEC has advised candidates and political parties to utilize conventional media, to be creative in the way they go about their rallies, to use social media, to use other creative means of information dissemination in their campaigns and rallies. As well, INEC is expecting that political parties, as regarding the Edo and Ondo state governorship election, particularly Edo, which had concluded their primaries, they expect that the names of candidates for the Edo state governorship election would be submitted today. Today is the deadline, and INEC is advising political parties not to wait till the last minute before submitting the names. And then finally, House of Representatives Committee on Aviation has expressed satisfaction with safety measures that have been put in place by the Ministry of Aviation and other critical stakeholders for the resumption of flight operations, of course, after 3 months of shutdown over the COVID-19 pandemic. Chairman of that committee, Nolimon Naji, made this known in Abuja yesterday. He commended major airlines for conducting test flights to ascertain the airworthiness of their aircraft before full resumption. Naji also called on Nigerians not to just embark on unnecessary air travels upon resumption of flight. He said COVID-19 is still a real threat to humanity. Now, the lawmaker who represents Nkanu East and Nkanu West Federal Constituency in Enugu State also assured that the renovation of our Kano Ibiam International Airport will soon be completed. He said, and I quote, "The House Committee is also not rested on its oars over the Akano Ibiam International Airport. We are working round the clock to ensure completion of work and resumption of flights at the airport," end of quote. He also made it known that last week he was there on oversight inspection with the Deputy Minority Leader of the House, Toby Okechukwu, and Simon Atigwe, and he said they were satisfied with the quality of work seen on ground. On political voices, Obasanjo's call for restructuring Nigeria, the issues and implications. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Political Voices. It's 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM, and we're focusing on Obasanjo's call for restructuring Nigeria, the issues and implications. My name is Ezinne, Aninwe, welcome. And here in the studio we have Chief Okenwobu, a retired federal civil servant and a seasoned political analyst. It's good to have you, sir. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Dr. Dele Maxwell Ugwanyi, social commentator, lecturer, General Studies Division, ISUT. Thank you for coming today. Good morning.
Good morning, Ezinne. Excited to be with Chief Okenwobu this morning.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. So once again, the former president or a former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has called for restructuring. This time it's like an SOS call, save our soul call. And how did that come to you? Because we saw that in the papers just a few days ago. Chief Mobu.
Well, it wasn't a surprise to me, really. You know, going by the pedigree of somebody like Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former president, is a man who have seen it all. He was a very combatant commando soldier. He was head of state, military. He was also head of state, civilian or democratically elected. And he has always spoken out when it matters most. I believe he has informations classified or non-classified within his disposal that made him make this call again, because he has done it before and he's doing it again. And you know, with the current situation in the country, a lot of things are so lopsided. The federation seems not to be holding together, and it can only
be solved from my own view and from the views of other people like Chief Obasanjo by restructuring the nation, because the structure is too weighty for the federal government. If you recall, although I don't know whether it's because of COVID or whatever, if you recall, when killings were so many everywhere, both in the West, in the East, in the Middle Belt and all that, and the West came up with this idea of Amatekun. It was resisted, all right, but it did its own part because the killings dropped drastically. It dropped. It's part of the restructuring. We can start gradually in restructuring, either from the security aspect, or all we need to do is to give enabling environment for it to thrive. Let me just hold it here.
Dr. Maxwell Ubani.
Well, I think that restructuring, yes. But I don't think Obasanjo is qualified to be talking of restructuring in Nigeria.
Why do you say so?
Because out of 60 years of independence, Obasanjo has spent 11 years at the helm of affairs of this country. He could have done one or two things to project Nigeria forward. But I is always talking of restructuring. How? We do not know. Obasanjo doesn't have any proposal on ground. This is what we want. This is how we want it done. And I don't think personally now that I should trust Obasanjo whenever he talks about on Nigerian issue again. He should allow those that Nigerian future belong to. Obasanjo has done his part, whether he has positively or negatively. He has done his own part. Most of what he has been telling us, he didn't have been found out not to be altruistic approach. He doesn't have that kind of thing. And we must be very, very critical and very, very careful about this restructuring we're bandying about. In the sense that towards 1999, between 83 and 1999, the idea was military should go. We thought when military goes away, everything will become an Eldorado. We never scrutinized the document handed to us in the name of a constitution. Few military people and their civilian accomplices sat down inside the one room and drafted a constitution and handed over to us. We didn't scrutinize it. That's why it has become very difficult to even effect meaningful alterations into that constitution. Before we knew it, for 16 years, PDP was in power. Everybody was, let us say, PDP must go, they've run us aground, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, everybody caught the virus, the change virus in 2015. 5 years down the line, the next one is restructuring. How do we restructure? Because any restructuring that we still privilege the upper class, the ruling class, is just recycling the problem of Nigeria. Because the problem of Nigeria is with the Nigerianness. Every restructuring must be pro-people, not pro-elite. I don't believe devolution of power. Power to who? I don't believe security. Security to who? We are living in a country whereby the ruling class, they determine who go into police. They determine who go into NDA. You can't even become a constable in Nigerian police without a politician or anybody recommending you. These people cannot be talking of restructuring. And Obasanjo, to me, as far as I'm concerned, is not qualified to be talking of restructuring because in his first term, 1999 to 2003, he spent it moving all over the world. Chief Galiva even took him to court. Oga, stay at home and solve the problem. You need to read your Shudari's letter to him around 2002. Between 2003 and 2007, Obasanjo spent all his time working for third term. He even convoked national confab with sole agenda for his third term. He never talked of restructuring then. The same Obasanjo told us Yaradua is the best person, despite the fact that Yaradua was sick. Granted, Yaradua was a honest leader, but he has a health condition that will not let him carry on the duty of president and what it demands. The next thing, Jonathan must be there. Before, within 4 years, Obasanjo told that Jonathan was training snipers over the place. He told his PDP ticket and he gave us a Buhari, that Buhari is the best thing that will happen. Now, after down the lane, the Buhari is no more. No, we can't begin to trust Obasanjo going forward into the Nigerian country. The people below 50, people below 60 should be discussing restructuring. How does restructuring, how does it tend towards being pro-people, pro-people of Nigeria, so that Nigerian people can live a country where they are proud to say, this is my own country?
Well, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo laid more emphasis on the issue of security, which he said is serious enough to make restructuring important in a time like this. Now, he also pointed out to President Buhari that even in the letters in the northern domain, that there is a growing disquiet over persistent insecurity. Now, we've also seen the Northern Elders Forum, through its spokesperson, Akeem Ahmed, declare that President Buhari is a failure on account of persistent insecurity within the nation. So, Obasanjo went ahead to also advise that considering the COVID-19 pandemic Nigeria has also found itself in with the rest of the world, he proposed about 6 things that should be happening to make things fall into place. He said first is food availability and security, second employment and job security, third is change in the pattern and style of living including traveling, fourth is innovation, science, technology, digitalization, artificial intelligence, fifth local content, raw materials and substitutes. The sixth, he said, is diversification of the economy and enhancement of export commodities. Chief Ngobu.
Well, I'm very happy that my friend is not against restructuring. He is rather angered by the man who proposed restructuring. But but if you remember, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar during his campaign promised to restructure this country. Even APC as a ruling party formed a committee, I think headed by El Rufai, on restructuring, and they submitted a report recommending restructuring. Just recently, I think it was on Sunday or so, Ali Ndume, former Senate leader, called for restructuring. He didn't call it restructuring, all right, but he made a statement which tended towards restructuring, because he said that 30% of the people expend the entire nation's budget, while the 70% are wallowing in absolute poverty. And, so I think restructuring is the key. But it's not just throwing it restructuring and you go on and say you are restructuring. There has to be a think tank group. There has to be some kind of, level-headed, intelligent, educated people to bring out the modalities for the restructuring. We can start gradually. We can start from security. At least the time the West tried Amotekum, they mentioned Amotekum and tried to implement it. We saw some difference in the killings and all that. Southeast tried their own, but somehow it was adulterated by the IG of police and
themselves.
And I don't know if.
Well, the last we heard of it was that the state houses of assembly were left with the mandate to come up with bills.
Yes, but they would have hastened it. How long will it take them to come up with bills?
Now we're talking about COVID-19 and state houses of assembly
But
to shut it down.
They can work from home.
Oh, but they have been passing budgets and all that.
They can work from home. Zoom is there for them to
So I think we generally agree that we need to restructure. We need to restructure. See what is happening. Let me take, say, Southeast, for example. The governors of the Southeast can decide to pool resources together. We can have an intra-rail track covering the Southeast. But they cannot do it because the man in Oka is Abga. The man in Enugu is PDP. The man in Imo is APC and all that. And when they come together, it might be difficult for them to agree on that kind of project. Because everybody wants to build one high-falutin building that they will say is so that did this during his tenure. But if you have this so-called restructuring, assuming it is restructured on geopolitical zones, you probably have a vice president from Southeast geopolitical zone who will be like a headmaster to the governors. If you watch recently what happened in APC, it's because they have a headmaster in the head of state who weathered the beast and everybody conformed. You understand? So when you restructure, you will have somebody like that within the geopolitical zones trying to organize the governors, no matter which party you belong to, for the interest of the region.
All right. Dr. Gwangi, sometime in March, former President Obasanjo also said that the present National Assembly cannot and is not in a better position to give the country a new or befitting constitution that can address the many problems confronting the nation, including the calls for restructuring.
Well, my problem has always been that I'm not always comfortable talking about Obasanjo or referring to Obasanjo.
So we're looking at the issue he mentioned.
So, yeah, he has been made, but he's not sincere. I always believe Obasanjo is not a sincere, he has never been sincere with this country. Because if there's any person that corrupted the current National Assembly, it's Obasanjo, using his third term move. Every country has its own challenges, no doubt about it. I've been privileged to travel to some countries, and every country no country is not corrupt. But what we are talking about is the level of corruption. Go to Russia, for example. Russia is a corrupt country. But people are not interested in whatever the political gladiators are doing, because the infrastructure, their daily life, whatever the health institution are working, the education system working, infrastructure working, housing, everything is working. So they don't bother what happened. So if restructuring Nigeria, I've always believed, must be pro-people. What do I mean by pro-people? You can say, okay, Nigeria generates 1 billion naira every month. Let 50% drawn from first line charge to education, health, infrastructure, and all that. So whoever becomes the president or whatever the political people at the top, whatever they do, Nigerian people will not bleed as a result of what is happening, as a result of their corruption. Let them do with 50%, irrespective, because the problem is that my brother is the governor, my brother is the president. Therefore, every appointment must come. It's our turn to eat. It's our turn to chop. It's our turn to control everything. There was a time Southeast were majorly in power. During Jonathan time, Southwest, they were shouting marginalization. Now it's the turn of some people down here. Because this marginalization or restructuring call is majorly as a result of the fact that proximity or lack of it to the center of economic production. At the center, once your proximity is altered, the next thing you begin to shout, marginalization, restructure. What are we restructuring? Any restructuring that will still give powers to the ruling class. Any restructure, because if you are not careful, they will just come together and tell us we have restructured. This is the document. Before you know it, nothing will be working. Just the way they handed over the constitution to us in 1999, nothing is working. You can't even alter it. You can't even, just imagine state creation. Senator Kuremadu has been saying it several times, that the way the constitution was drafted, it is absolutely impossible to even create a local government going by the processes you need to attain. That can be a constitution that is meant for progressive, a society that is ready to progress. Now, what the elite do is electoral act. They are amending electoral act just because that one has to do with their own issue. Recently now, yesterday we are referring to the aviation. Why is it that they are more interested in aviation? Mr. Cruz, a robot in Abuja. You go, the robot will take care of you. Then the Seneca even had a handshake with the robot. Now they are gradually taking care of themselves. They will say, okay, university, go and build your isolation center. Go and do this, go and do this, go and do this. Nobody's interested how peace pack. Nobody's interested how the young or how God is good is being helped to put in places all these preventive measures. But they are interested in their own Abuja, that we take care of that class. We should not accept what will continue to take care of the ruling class again. We should be interested in how Nigeria will be restructured so that whatever the political gladiators do will not have anything, we will not bother. Our schools are open, functioning, our health facilities functioning, our roads are working, our housing, every housing is made available. So let them die, let them kill themselves, irrespective of who is in power or who is not in power. As long as Nigerian people will not bleed, I'm okay. But the Obasanjo should not be the one to point to the way forward.
You supported that motion. Well, he had a problem with the present National Assembly, and you sounded the same way.
The National Assembly is one of the problems of Nigeria.
Well, which way for restructuring Nigeria? Since it has been agreed that restructuring is the way to go, especially in a time like this. Obasanjo calls for restructuring Nigeria, the issues and the implications. Join the conversation. Call us on 0809 888 or 0902 002095. We're on a TriCast, a Facebook live stream. The page is 925 Dream FM, Twitter handle at Dream925FM, on YouTube Dream TV Enugu. Join us there. On the WhatsApp line as well, 0902 002095. Emeka from Enugu says we should stop blaming the past and move forward. Obasanjo is a Nigerian and has the right to express his opinion, which may not be sacrosanct. We need to move forward and stop all these unending blame games. 0809 888 Good morning.
Hello. Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome. What's your name, sir?
My name is Francis. I'm from Obasanjo.
We can barely hear you. Can you adjust to be more audible?
My name is
Francis. All right, Francis.
Wow, okay. Can you hear me?
We are trying to.
Okay. Wow.
Well, the line is not so clear, Francis. Please, I hope you call us back. Hello, good morning. 0902 002095. On the Facebook live stream, you can join us, 925 Dream FM. That's the address. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Alright, that's quite deafening, but let's focus on people who are contributing on the Facebook live stream. And I have George Ume who says restructuring Nigeria is key. Part of the restructuring should reduce the powers of the governor. The regional headmaster should have a bit of power to control the governors, who in turn will help the regions. Obasanjo is not in the best place to advocate restructuring, but he had opportunity, or because he had the opportunity rather, to do it and never did. I don't take him seriously. Nigerian leaders are sincerely insincere and they are only interested in their welfare alone. All right. We have Prince Onyeso on the line with us. Good morning and welcome. Obale Zenri.
Good morning.
Yes.
It's a very interesting topic you're doing. Quite a number of people there have made a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Obasanjo was there 8 years and ended up for a good term. And even the young people like Frederick Johnson who are insisting on restructuring. But currently, we have had programs of meaningful restructuring of Nigeria by Dr. This 6 years
over centralization, over dependence on the center is part of the challenges we have, and the fact that a new constitution is needed. And how feasible are all of this? That's the next question. 0809 888 Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ezinne.
Yes, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Stephen Bame. I'm calling you from Obubu, Ikogi State.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me start this way. I wish I can have my way to tell leaders who are in position of authority and they failed to do the needs. Then after, when they leave that position, they begin to see what they have failed to do. Obasanjo had every opportunity. He had every opportunity with him to do this country in the right direction. But he failed to do so. He tried to some extent, but in this regard, Obasanjo should not be the one to call us for restructure. We need restructure. But Obasanjo should not be the one to call because he had this opportunity and he failed to do it. He failed to do it because of his political gain. He knew that some persons from this part of the country would not want restructure and he did not want to do it so that they will not challenge him in coming back a second term. So he failed to do that. Look at our electoral law. Look at how people have been killed during the election. Obasanjo was there, did not do it. Look at what he did by giving power to the governors to conduct local government elections. And today what we are having is that governors have protected the local government. Local government is not working. All this thing was done because of Obasanjo. Obasanjo did not tell us. We need restructuring. Thank you, Ezinne.
Well, at least there's a common ground. Restructuring is a need, devoid of who is talking about it. 0809 Chukuma Ifremokenwa joined us on the Facebook live stream. He says, administration is both structure and system. If we restructure without a complete overhaul of the quality of leadership, which is systematic, then it is obvious that nothing will change. Dr. Maule Barra from Owerri says, there is an urgent need for a restructured Nigeria. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Are the Igbos, Yorubas, and Hausas equally represented in the security apparatus of this nation? Why are the Igbos relegated to the background to the extent that we will not be involved where security of the nation is being discussed? What is the essence of the federal character enshrined in the Constitution? Let the eagle perch and let the kite too. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
My name is Ezinne. I'm calling from Enugu.
Go ahead, Obina.
So the issue of restructuring, no matter who says it, it's true that Obasanjo didn't do well. He should have done something. But I won't take it because he didn't do it and say that restructuring is so good. Restructuring is the best thing that will happen to this country. It will address at least majority of the problem we're having in this country. Therefore, it's the issue of unity school and other nonsense policies that have been propounded to favor the North ever since this country started. They are fighting against restructuring because it has been the situation of Nigeria has been suffering them. In a situation where a child student from this east to south, you get 200, and student from the north, you get 100. So we take the student from the north and we take the student from the south because of what they say better character or whatever that was saying. So how can it be so? If there's a lot of injustice in the structure of Nigeria today, so this country is supposed to be the structure so that there is equality. See the kind of thing they are doing. We get 50% of errors.
We're hearing you. Okay then. Thank you for your contribution, Obina from Enugu. 0809 888 or 0902 20925. Thank you for joining us. Okay. On the Facebook live stream, OC Rockefeller also will take your comment.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. You need to turn down the volume of your radio. Okay.
Can I go ahead with something?
Yes. Once you've turned down the volume on your radio, please go ahead.
Alright. See, every day, what I'm saying that there is a discussion. Anybody who is talking about restructuring, it's just place of restructuring. We don't know the kind of restructuring is talking about. One can come up and say restructuring. What model of restructuring are you calling out? Nigeria will need a discussion. We have to sit down and discuss it. And not. We should sit down to discuss and to chat a discussion. The country is no more with the way the country says restructuring.
Alright, the volume on your radio would not allow you to be very clear. David, thank you for your contribution though. On the Facebook live live stream 925 Dream FM. Join us there. This is from OC Oboso, who says, anybody talking about restructuring now is like a dog anticipating the fall of the dangling scrotum of a ram. The dog may die waiting. The Hausa Fulani oligarchy has the agenda to rule Nigeria forever, he says, and the word restructuring to the north sounds like a pandemic. Well, remember that the views expressed by guests and callers on this program are personal and do not reflect the views or position of 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. As much as you are entitled to your opinion, remember not to insult sensibilities or personalities. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. 0809888895. Thank you for joining us on Political Voices. Good morning.
Good morning, Ezinne.
Welcome. What's your name?
Good morning to the gentleman in the house.
Good morning.
Like they say, the not no matter who does talk about the restructure. But what I'm saying is, the restructure is a restructuring something. Have you not said it enough? Like the last edition of read, in as much as a planning man, you mentioned that seat. Anything talk about restructure, you're wasting your time. Restructure is, as an man I am, restructure is not going to do any good thing to us. All we want is our Biafra, and our Biafra will concentrate. Then Nigeria, any other part of the country might be good.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get back to the discussion here in the studio. We are talking about Obasanjo's call for restructuring Nigeria, the issues and implications. Here in the studio, we have gentlemen here that have been analyzing the topic, doing justice to it, rather. And Dr. Dele Maxwell Ugwani is here, social commentator, lecturer, General Studies Division, ASUT. We also have Chief Okenwobo, retired federal civil servant and a seasoned political analyst. Let me begin with you, Dr. Ugwani, at this point. Reaction so far from the callers and on the social media platforms. What do you make of them?
Then there seems to be a consensus that we need to restructure. But the issue is, how do we restructure? And I've always said, Nigerian people should restructure their country. We shouldn't leave restructuring, because the way as it's presently being banded, to me, it's just it's just elite construction to retool their looting formula. Because the same when we say restructure, so that the federated unit can have more powers. The same governors are opposed to local government autonomy. The same state governors are opposed to judicial autonomy, financial autonomy of judiciary in their state. Buhari has to step down the gazetting of that executive order because of the prayer mounted on him by the governors. The governors are opposed to the financial autonomy of the houses of state houses of assembly. Why? Because they want to continue to have dominion on finances. Because we live in a country whereby the governors determine who goes into the house, who becomes a house of assembly member. And what is the duty of house of assembly? To do what? To serve as watchdog, to check and balances. But governor will not allow this food to operate. Even if he give more powers, more money to the governors, it doesn't still translate into meaningful development for the people. The same, I think, how many states have transformed their state with the little allocation they have? Now we have Akwa Ibom, River State, Delta, and Bayelsa. They have number 1 to 4. The biggest or the largest state that receive allocation. Go to those states. Are they the highest in terms of human power, human development power? Human power development. Are they the highest in the infrastructure development? Are they paying the highest wage in their state? What is the quality of life in those states, despite the amount of money being given to those states? Because when people say, give us more money so that we can develop, yes, granted. The center is so powerful. As a matter of what we practice in Nigeria is anything but, I mean, it's everything but federalism, granted. Because Nigerian system, Nigerians will always come to corrupt whatever theory you have put in place. What I'm saying, and I'll continue to say it, is that we should develop a system in which whoever becomes president, whoever is the governor, whoever is the local government chairman, will not have any impact, institutions devoted to fixing Nigeria, irrespective of who is the governor, who is the president. The idea of a governor or president dashing me road, I have to go hand in hand to the governor to come and grade my local government road, to come and fix my general hospital, to come and do this, to come and do this. As long as we continue like this, it portends no development. So in essence, what we should do is that we should discountenance these people calling for restructuring. They don't mean well, and I repeat it, they don't mean well. We should allow Nigerians who Nigeria belong to decide how best to fix our country. You don't rely on people like Obasanjo. Look at this issue of insecurity. If toll gates were operational now, this influx, this interstate movement would have been cut to a very significant extent.
Well, last year we heard the federal government talk about reintroduction of toll gates.
But Obasanjo just woke up one day and demolished the whole toll gates across the country. And you are telling me that they are insecure. Assuming before you, from Lagos, you stop, you won't even get to Head Bridge on Onitsha. You stop somewhere, the toll gate. There's no way you move into Onitsha, into Southeast, if there are toll gate. Obasanjo woke up one day and demolish the whole thing.
All right, Chief Okenwobu. Well, one of the things pointed out by the Obasanjo, rather, Prince Onyesu, was
that man has been very passionate about restructuring.
Yes,
and I salute
one of the things he pointed out is the need for a new constitution. Now, the thing is, how possible is it? Because we also have seen what was said by the former president, that the present National Assembly cannot and is not in a better position to give the country a new befitting constitution. And of course, Dr. Gwangi alluded to that. What are your thoughts?
Well, you see, what is happening is Nigeria, we live by body language. I'm telling you, if the executive is of the opinion or is favorable to restructuring, you would have seen a lot of our politicians dancing and shouting restructuring and all that. No, it may not be to their benefit. It depends on how it pans out. It depends on who were selected or elected to draw up the modalities. Restructuring will not be a one-day affair. We can start somewhere. You know, there was this 2014 confab which came up with a number of recommendations. One or two or three of the recommendations could be taken for now, while we gradually move towards complete restructuring. While our think tank group is working on the best way out, we could take some of these recommendations, including the electoral reforms which UWES, recommended then. Some of these things are what is holding back this country. The situation now is that everybody is waiting for Oga at the top to know where he is going. Then we will all rush and follow.
No opposing view.
No opposing view. If you oppose, well, the acting others and acting this and acting that, will come after you. And so, most times, you keep quiet. Look at what happened to Showere and the others, Ugo Chimere or somebody, the other time. Ikenga. So you don't have opposing view. But if we could select or elect or whichever select honest Nigerians to work out modalities for the restructuring, we could start from security, like I said. We could start from revenue distribution. We could start from resource control. There are so many areas. You see, Nigeria has this policy of educationally disadvantaged states. And you make people from that area get admission into medicine, law, and all that with lower grades. But you don't have provision for politically disadvantaged states where you don't have the numbers to make up for electoral votes. And so there should also be something. It's all part of the restructuring I'm talking about. You can have the political disadvantaged states say by enshrining in the constitution this zoning formula, which makes it imperative for all the zones to produce according to their own tenor, and you make it maybe a one-term something for the president, and by that every geopolitical zone is at least sure of having a shot.
Well, now that you talked about one term, at some point, while the 8th National Assembly was tinkering with the Constitution, former Deputy Senate President proposed a six-year tenure.
If Jonathan did it,
Yes.
they accuse him wrongly that he want to use it to perpetuate himself.
So it doesn't really matter the number of years, but let it just be one term for each zone. If it is 4 years, still okay.
All
5, no problems.
On the Facebook live stream, 925 Dream FM, Law Emeka Merritt Jr. says, my question is this, talking about restructuring, why did Gowon reject the Aburi Agreement, which is the same restructuring that led to the Civil War? He said, now the center can no longer hold OBJ is part of the problem. Why didn't he restructure during his tenure? There is only one way out. Chino So Good Luck Okeke says restructuring is not going to solve the problem. No matter who is calling for restructuring, it must fail, he says, because Nigeria is not working as expected. Nats Moko says, I wonder why the intellect will elude them while in Aso Rock, but will manifest after they have left. Study all the occupants of Aso Rock. They seem to know what to do when they are no longer there. Now, Chino So Good Luck, okay, you also said, what restructuring is there going to be more than the 2014 confab? Comrade Jeremiah Curry says, Obasanjo and other Nigerian politicians are not sincere with their calls for restructuring. He had all it takes to restructure the country during his tenure. What stopped him? All right, 0809 888 Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Ezinne. This is Mr. Isaac calling from Anambra.
Go ahead, please.
Alright, I hope that everybody is entitled to his opinion.
As long as you keep it civil.
Obasanjo's call for restructuring, but I think it is too late now. So my whole call is that Nigeria should conduct a referendum, and we will have another country inside Nigeria because Nigeria is too large.
Thank you very much for your own contribution. 0809 888 or 0902 002092. Good morning.
Good morning, Ezinne.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
My name is Michael Wani. I'm calling from Aku.
Welcome,
Can I
Mike.
make my
Go
contribution?
ahead, please.
Thank you. I want to ask the gentleman in the studio question. Restructuring, it is quite clear, from the policies and the body language of this president or federal government that they are not prepared to restructure. So what do we do if they fail to restructure? Shall we put our hands and keep quiet? So what I'm suggesting that it is quite time we started being solution oriented rather than facing shadow.
All right.
Because the present administration will not, they will look for something and go as if and all, and we will be struggling as if.
Thank you,
Just like what is
Mike.
happening in the Edo State,
Okay.
where they are busy, actualizing the agenda. So you see what is happening in APC now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. Let's allow one or two other callers so that we can answer that question of what do we do if the body language is not right. Hello, good morning. Thank you. What's your name? Okay, we need to hear you clearer. Go ahead, project better. Good morning.
I suppose, if we continue to practice this to the bottom,
No, your line is not so clear. It didn't allow you express your views properly, but thank you for calling. Over Nadikland on the Facebook live stream says, I believe that restructuring would, help in reshaping the economy and the attitudinal change of the leaders. But the problem we're facing in this country is that our leaders get blind while in office, and I think we'll get everything right when a credible leader or credible leaders emerge. Thank you. On the Twitter handle at Dream925FM. I'm trying to see if we had people who joined us there. But before we get to that, gentlemen, we should be rounding off. Chief Oke Umobu. Well, the caller who asked, Mike Wani, he said, if the leaders leaders who we look up to are not doing what the people expect them to do in terms of restructuring, what should the people do?
We continue to pressure, we continue to talk. More prominent people should call for restructuring. And I want to ask, what will any group lose by restructuring? What will any group lose by restructuring? More so when it is for the development of the areas. What will any group lose? Is it the revenue, or is it the presidency, or what? Former governor of Enugu State, Dr. Chimaroke Namani, said that he's far gone beyond Igbo presidency or Hausa presidency and all that. That what he needs is restructuring, so that all the geopolitical zones will develop at their pace and make whatever they want to make. So I think restructuring is the way.
All right. Dr. Ogwani.
Well, people are opposed to restructuring based on the fact that we have seen restructuring from the perspective of resource control, devolution of power. People who don't have oil, we say if we restructure, you won't get money again. But that is not the major aim of restructuring. We have over 200 countries in the world, and the countries that have oil, I don't think they're up to 20. So Singapore is doing well, Japan is doing well, so many countries are doing well. Asia, they don't have oil. As a matter of fact, I've always believed that oil, the discovery of oil in Niger Delta, is more of a curse than a blessing to Nigeria, because it took away all our creativity, it took away all our innovations, it took away all our ideas, because they are already made money every month. Governors go to hand out in a governor's commissioner for finance go to Abuja.
That's a debate for another day.
And nobody's thinking, nobody's creating anything, nobody's doing anything. So it's like after Buhari now, maybe in 2028, he will come back and tell the next president that how to fight bandits.
We have agreed that restructuring is needed, and of course, many propositions were made. A new constitution is needed, and the people need to keep pressuring, like you said, Chief Nwobu, if the leaders are not doing the needful. Thank you for coming on Political Voices today, Chief Nwobu, retired federal civil servant and assistant political analyst.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Maxwell Mugwanyi. Dr. Dele Maxwell Mugwanyi is a social commentator, lecturer, General Studies, Division A suit. It's been a pleasure having you
Thank
too.
you, Ezinne. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to my producer, Okeodogu, and TriCaster, Alex Obodo, who made sure we were live on Facebook, 925 Dream FM, Twitter handle at Dream925 FM, on YouTube, Dream TV Enugu. Ensure to join us there always. And thank you to my production assistant, Lotano Gerike. My name is Ezinne. Stay for the news at 10 on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Political Voices return